Hello.
Hi, Ross. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, to be honest. How are you doing, Belle?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so excited to be speaking with you.
Likewise. I'm guessing you've prepared a few questions, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I have quite a few Star Wars questions regarding your time on Revenge of the Sith, and that movie happens to be my favorite Star Wars movie.
No way. How come?
Yeah, I've probably seen that one more times than all the other ones.
Really? My favorite, turns out, back in the day when I used to be kind of more religious about watching it, was Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was I was kind of young at the time, but the arena scene is what did it for me when all the kind of monsters from different exotic planets came together. By Obi-Wan and Anakin, those are the highlights. I loved it.
That's awesome. The first time I saw Star Wars was about when I was 5, and I saw Return of the Jedi first on VHS, and that just kind of started the whole fandom for me. We were about the same age when you started doing Star Wars, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Cool. I remember what was the kind of timeline when I first started watching? I remember I did have Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, and The Empire Strikes Back on VHS, but I'm not sure if I actually watched those ones first or The Phantom Menace first. I think I watched the first two first, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and then I watched the proper originals afterwards. Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how I started. I know I started Return of the Jedi, and then just sometime after that, Revenge of the Sith came out, and that was the very first Star Wars movie I ever got to see in the movie theaters. I remember that very clearly. And I'll have to admit, the ending kind of scared me as a kid, so I had nightmares for a while.
Okay.
The scene where Anakin caught fire pretty much traumatized me as a kid.
All right, you were having flashbacks.
Yeah, definitely. But it was pretty bizarre, but now that I'm an adult now, and it's just a pretty amazing thing to be a part of and be a fan of the Star Wars universe. There's just so many amazing things about that world that I can connect with. And I just love the stories and the movies and everything.
That's amazing. And would you say it's fair to say that it's kind of shaped who you are as a person?
In a way, yeah. Growing up with autism wasn't easy for me. So I will always turn to my favorite movies or video games to make me a little happier. But I love that I can connect to these characters on a personal basis and say, that's me on the screen. Because I want to be a Jedi, or I want to be a Sith Lord, or whoever I wanted to be. It's just some kind of way that I can connect to these characters and make my it helped me through tough times.
Okay, cool. I think it would depend on my emotion on the day whether I prefer to be a Sith Lord or a Jedi.
No, I would pretend to dress up and be anyone as a character, no matter who or what they are. So if I wanted to be Obi-Wan or Luke, I'll just be whoever I wanted to be.
Okay.
So you got to be in Revenge of the Sith when you were only 6 years old. What do you remember about your audition process and being in the Star Wars universe?
I remember the audition process was surprisingly kind of easy. I didn't really remember there being any kind of tests that I had to do in regards to my acting talent, by which at that time I had zero experience whatsoever. So my mum's friend, who she used to work with, worked for a children's acting agency.
Okay.
And that's how I got the role initially. And so all I needed to do was send a little promo video of me pretending to kind of operate as a customer in a shop. That bit was quite weird. And after that, I was invited to Shepperton Studios in near London. And yeah, I remember on the day, the audition process, we were kind of we had to keep to ourselves as kids. We were given kind of books to read, like crayons to paint with. I brought my own book about dinosaurs, and yeah, the only reason why I got the line wasn't through any audition process. The casting director just walked up to us, group of kids, when we were all sat down on the set, the green screen in the background and asked us who knows the line. I wasn't really making many friends on the day. I was listening to the person. I was probably the only one listening. So I said, yeah, I know the line. And yeah, that's how I got it. They said, all right, we'll pick you.
And did you know you were auditioning for Star Wars?
Yes, I was aware. My mum did tell me. It was quite How do I remember my emotions at the time, though? I remember just being excited because I was a big fan of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And yeah, well, am I going to decline an offer from that? No, of course not.
And you were seen in what could be one of the darkest moments in Star Wars history. What do you remember filming that scene in the Jedi Temple?
I remember not knowing what was going to happen in the plot at the time. All I knew was that somehow there's been a change in Anakin. That's it. He's in his like dark cloak. He's got his hood up, and yeah, just saying the line, Master Skywalker, there are too many of them, what are we going to do? I only realized the kind of impact of that scene a little bit afterwards when I went back to school and I told people that I was in it, I played this part, and people were like, Ross, you do know you died in the film, right? And I couldn't believe it at the time. I was like, no, of course I survived, man, I survived. Even my parents told me I survived. Come on. I think they're trying to make me feel better about it. But yeah, that's all I really knew at the time. I didn't know much about the overarching plot. No.
Yeah, it took me a few years to realize that Anakin actually killed the kids in that very scene. And I felt so terrible not knowing for a long time.
Yeah, it's something quite out of place in a universe like that. It really went to the depths of what Anakin was kind of capable of, and I guess that was the turning point between him becoming Darth Vader. You can't really go back from murdering children.
Yeah, and I still couldn't believe that the character was capable of killing children, especially Jedi kids, and that he was expecting a child himself. So seeing him do that, which I think was the most twisted moment in Star Wars history.
He was definitely beyond repair at that point. His mind was so warped.
Yeah.
And yeah, even kind of seeing the process behind how he got to be like that way. I could only really appreciate it when I watched Star Wars a little bit later and had a bit more maturity. Back in the day, I just liked all the battles of the lightsabers, how everything looks so cool, and yeah, the kind of the magic power that Jedis have. That was awesome.
And what was working on the set like with the cast and the crew, and working with Hayden Christensen in that scene?
Well, working with Hayden was pretty cool. I remember him coming up to me before the scene was starting. It was after I was kind of given a handle of a lightsaber, and it was meant to be a green lightsaber, which my character was meant to be given. And but that was thrown away, and he came up to me and he said, he introduced himself. Hey, I'm Hayden. What's your name? My name's Ross. And yeah, he asked me if I had any questions for him, and I just remember asking him, "What's more dangerous, an adult's lightsaber or a kid's lightsaber?" And it turns out the adult's lightsaber is more dangerous, apparently. So
wow.
Yeah, but yeah, he seemed like a really kind of relaxed, cool, kind of chill dude. Maybe not as friendly as Ewan McGregor, but it was still awesome meeting him at the same time. Me and my mum, we ran into Ewan McGregor just before getting into like changing with our costumes, where we could pick out our little braids and yeah, that was probably the highlight of the day. We talked to him for a good 10 minutes. He gave me a glass of champagne, probably to settle my nerves before the
That's awesome.
filming. Yeah, he was a really cool guy.
And
I think my mum was probably a bit more in shock than he was. I think she was feeling quite flustered at the time.
I probably would be too if I got to meet him or Hayden or anyone else from Star Wars.
Yeah, they've got a lot of presence to them, definitely, and they're quite good looking as well.
And I understand that your Star Wars name, Ross Beadman, was created by mixing up your real name. How exciting is it to have your Star Wars name made by just using your name?
It was exciting at the time because I remember watching the premiere, not didn't see myself in the credits at all. When I got a little bit worried, and then it must have been a little bit before that I actually got the name Saul's Banding, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's a common thing which they do in movies, just changing the names around. But it felt really personal. That felt pretty cool. And now afterwards, that was kind of the only link I had or solid proof that I was in Revenge of the Sith. So I appreciate them doing that. Maybe that was the intention behind it, or maybe they just think it'll be cool to change the words up. But yeah, I'm grateful that they gave me that name in the end. Definitely.
It was really cool and really creative. When I was researching you before our interview, I found that on the internet, and I thought it was just very creative for the Star Wars movies, just how to make up your own name just by using your name.
Yeah, it definitely helps, because I think in the process of creating so many different character names, it's probably hard to just go off pure imagination alone.
I'm trying to mix up my own name, so I have no idea what my Star Wars name would be yet.
Yeah, it might take a bit of a while, but once you do, let me know. I'll be interested to see what the
send
Star
it to you. I had a question for you, but I lost it in my head. Oh yeah. If you could be any Star Wars character, who would you be?
Mace Windu.
Oh.
Yeah, he's so badass and unique in a way where it is the purple lightsaber as well. I think that just looks so different and cool, and I think there's a bit of backstory behind that, and that he channels some parts of the dark side, that kind of energy, into the way he uses the Force.
Okay.
Which I find out, and that just kind of brings me in closer to that character. That's the first thing which comes up in my head. Yeah, I just think he's badass. In the films, he's a bit too quiet for my liking. I wish they brought a bit more of him out. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Mace Windu.
Seeing Samuel L. Jackson play that character was definitely memorable growing up, especially seeing his fate in Revenge of the Sith. But then after that, I go on to see him in like so many other movies, like Die Hard,
Yeah,
the Marvel movies. It's just pretty epic to see him in all these mega franchises. And you think of him as not only Mace Windu, but also like Nick Fury and whoever else he is.
Well, 100%. I remember being absolutely devastated when I saw him get killed by Palpatine when he was trying to arrest him. I really didn't like that.
A lot of upsetting moments when I first saw the movie, and I still get the chills every single time I watch because it was so horrible.
Yeah. I think Revenge of the Sith did a number on a lot of fans' emotions when they were watching it.
Yeah, but definitely my emotions have changed from being 6 years old to 22 years old now. So a lot of change pretty much since then. I come to realize that it's just a movie. It didn't really happen.
Yeah, it's very easy to get wrapped up in, especially if a film's quite well done.
Definitely. I didn't know any better at the time. I used to think everything was real.
Yeah, I mean, because we're the same age, right? I'm 22 too, so we must have been at the same point when we were watching it. I remember thinking magic was certainly real. I don't remember ever thinking that Star Wars was fake and that there was this huge, like, kind of background structure behind it and how it was made.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I thought was real was Harry Potter.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I remember I didn't know any better even at age 11, so I was like expecting my Hogwarts letter to come for me.
Travel down to platform 9 3/4 in London, trying to bash the carriage into that wall.
Yeah, I really thought it would have been very cool to have in real life.
No, that would have been awesome. When you were younger, right, and you were watching Star Wars, did you ever try and test out if you had the Force with an object close to you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
When you were younger and watching Star Wars, did you ever try and test out if you had the Force by trying to move an object close to you with your mind?
Oh, definitely, all the time.
Probably ended up bursting a few blood vessels when I was doing it, just the pure focus on the puck trying to move it.
No, I would try no matter what. I remember going to stores where they had the ejecting doors at the mall or whatever, and I would just force my hand out, and it would be like the force to me.
All right.
Yeah, I still do that today, so I can't help it.
So it's one of those doors which actually kind of work in that favor, so it does look like you have the force, or no?
No, it's one of those doors where you stand in front of it and there's a sensor and it'll open for you when
Right.
someone there. And so I would step further away, and then as I move closer, I would put my hand out and go like this.
Yeah, I have the power.
Yeah, it still thrills me every single time I do it. So at this time last year, you got to reunite with Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden, at our Comic-Con convention in London, which was 15 years after the movie came out. What was it like to reunite with him?
Well, I'm glad I didn't get killed again. Let's just say that. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, the guy's barely changed in the, how long has it been? 16?
About 15 years or 16?
Yeah, about 15, 16 years. He's barely changed, so maybe he has got some force going on behind the scenes. Who knows? But yeah, it was amazing. I only had 5 minutes. I only had a 5-minute window to meet Hayden in the first place. Managed to get it because there's a local Star Wars fan group near me called Fanfatrax, and they helped set the meeting up by talking to his agent on the day. And they phoned me up while I was at the convention saying, Ross, you've got 5 minutes to get and to see Hayden, like hurry up quickly. And I was at the other end of the convention hall with like my carry-on suitcase as well. So I had to haul ass down there. But it was cool. I came up saw all the people crowding around him, just going through the crowd a bit. And they're like, who's this? Who's this? And yeah, meeting him was pretty cool. I wasn't over flooded with emotion, but it was like the Matrix broken away, you know? Yeah, you get to see something which is quite a big part of your life get reaffirmed again so many years later. And yeah, he's a cool guy, and he gave me an autograph of himself, and he wrote, what's it? Something like, great to see you, Ross. You survived, from Hayden, and that was sick. Yeah,
that's awesome. I would love to have an autograph from Hayden myself. I'm a collector of autographs, and there are very little Star Wars ones that I got, and I would love to have a lot of big main characters.
100%. Are those autographs I can see behind you now on your wall?
Oh yeah, that's Jennifer Lawrence right there on the poster right there. So a lot of these
awesome
pictures on the walls are autographs.
That's sick. So where did you meet her?
I didn't. I actually emailed her reps, and they sent me a poster.
Oh, that's awesome.
I either get fan mail from writing to them, or emailing the reps, or going to Comic-Con conventions. And I just get very lucky when I reach out.
That's a really good way to connect with people who have actually been in films like that. And definitely. I guess it always pays to be proactive, right?
And that's very true. Yeah. Especially on social media, when I reach out to people or I will live tweet a TV show or talk about a movie, a lot of the cast and crew would come to know who I am. And it's the most bizarre feeling to have, especially when you go to Comic-Con, and when I introduce myself, they say they know who I am. So that just sends chills down my spine.
Yeah, and you've done that all yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I just was full of emotions there. And I don't believe I actually ever met a Star Wars actor, but I definitely done an interview before you. You're actually my second Star Wars interview, and I done Dominic Pace from The Mandalorian. So
sick.
The other Star Wars guy I talked to. But if I had to meet any of the other cast members or just random characters that were in Star Wars, I would meet anyone.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this is going to be the second of like many down the line, right? And you obviously have quite a lot of confidence to go and reach out to these people directly.
Thank you.
It's a skill. At the end of the day, it's a skill. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm proud of it. Everyone would get jealous of how I do this. Like just the other day, I gave my sister a video message from the guy that played Nathan Drake in the Uncharted video games, and the first thing she said was, "How do you have all these connections?"
What's your secret, Phil?
I don't know. I just reach out on social media or I send emails. I just do what any other normal person would do, and they just come to know me.
That's sick, man. And when you're talking about the Mandalorian, I'm not gonna lie, I preferred that a lot to the recent Star Wars films which have been released.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, you mentioned the guy from the Mandalorian earlier. That got me thinking that I preferred that to the most recent Star Wars films which have been released by Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think a lot of my opinions are kind of mixed up with the opinions of a lot of commentators.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can kind of see the flaws in those films by themselves.
Yeah. I would have to say that the sequel trilogy, there were just some moments that were like, huh? So, but I still enjoy them as a Star Wars movie. But I think some moments there that they were just stuff they just got rid of or just moved past it and just made it very confusing or kind of stupid. Yeah. But with The Mandalorian, it was completely different. It wasn't like the sequel trilogy. It was like its own Star Wars thing.
Yeah, it breathed new life into the franchise. I think a lot of people getting rightfully or wrongfully pissed off at how they did it. But yeah, the Mandalorians is so beautiful to watch, the way they recreated all the sets and the CGI in it's just so well done. And I think they use a lot of practical effects.
Yeah, it was really amazing. But I'll still watch all the Star Wars movies because I enjoy it, even though there are just moments that I just can't stand to watch over and over again.
Yeah.
There's things that I wish they could have changed about The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. While I enjoyed the Rise of Skywalker the most of the sequels, there were still moments I think should have been better.
Yeah. Some people are caught off guard. I remember watching it in the cinema, thinking, "Oh, this is quite cool, okay," and then seeing like Princess Leia in space getting frozen and somehow levitating herself back into the ship. I was like,
I know. I mean, she of course is the child of Anakin Skywalker, so she would have had the Force in her, like Luke did, but she didn't really want to have the Force powers. She just wanted to be kind of like a normal person, I guess I should say. But Luke did train her a little, but she still didn't really use it unless she felt a sense from Luke or some kind of feeling, like she was able to sense that Kylo Ren was nearby before that moment. So it's definitely interesting to see how they make Leia the way she was compared to when we last saw her in the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. I think they could have built up to it maybe a little bit. But, yeah.
Well, I know in the canon series, things are a whole lot different for Star Wars, and with the sequels, it's just its own original thing. Like Ben Solo doesn't even exist. There's really, but in the canon, like the books and the novels and comics, Han and Leia had 3 kids, so it was interesting to see this path that they placed to bring Star Wars back. And while I thought it was creative, some parts I wish they kept the same.
Yeah.
And I have one more question that I have written down for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing our chat end here, and I'm happy that we got to talk today.
100%. I think I really admire your energy and it kind of teach me a bit of a lesson in the way of how you've reached out to so many people and how you can get this kind of feedback from them quite I wouldn't say instantaneously, but effectively. I think I could be doing more of that in regards to other areas of my life. Just asking people for advice. You can there's so many influencers on social media, even if they're experts or not, maybe they know something a bit more than you do about their own profession, and that's what I can do, like personally.
Exactly. And one more thing I forgot to mention, actually, when The Rise of Skywalker came out, there was a package for me from Lucasfilms in the mail before I went to go see the movie, the Thursday night showing. And I don't know how they heard of me or how they got my information or my address. They wrote me a letter saying they know I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, and they sent me a signed picture of Daisy Ridley.
No way. That's crazy.
I still don't even know how they got my information, so it's still a mystery to me today.
Maybe they've got fingers in many pies. They've got eyes everywhere.
Probably. I mean, the only time I reached out to Lucasfilm was to the publicity office to try to set up interviews, but that didn't happen. But I'm still happy with where things are right now, and I'm still mind blown that they even know who I am.
And this is something you can do in the future as well when they release more Star Wars films and series. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to Mandalorian 2 and the Kenobi series.
Kenobi series is going to be definitely an interesting one. I think seeing Ewan McGregor on screen playing Obi-Wan again is going to be absolutely awesome. So I'm buzzed for that.
Yeah, definitely. There's no one else I'd rather see be Obi-Wan again than him.
100%.
And since Star Wars is your only acting role, and I saw your website, you are now working with graphic design, video editing, animation, and videography. Do you plan to have a career in films using those skills?
Well, yeah. I mean, in the future, I want to be running a video marketing business, video production business, using like national clients, and then helping bring them engagement and sales through the videos which I create. So that's the 5-year plan at the moment. And when it comes to graphic design, I think that's just another string to my bow. And that kind of, it brings him into the whole branding perspective. When you can do graphic design plus creating video content and editing videos, you've kind of got a skill set which can effectively brand a business in its entirety through regular video content and the way it looks on the website as well as social media. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what's going to be happening.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. I saw some of your work on your website, and you did a really great job on those. I'm currently teaching myself how to do like video design and animation and graphic designing because I just bought the Adobe programs, so I have a lot to teach myself. I plan to go to a community college for a class in the fall, just to like a video class for making movies. And I hope to use those skills, then go to a 4-year college for art and film school. Then hopefully I can do that, graduate, and then hopefully maybe work for Disney or Lucasfilms someday.
That's the dream.
Or even Marvel. Those are my 3 companies that I want to work at.
Well, you've definitely got the drive behind you to get the role. Definitely, I think over even past talent, even past having a natural born skill, the determination and the will to succeed at something will take you past people who are good at it but don't have the drive to bring themselves forward. So when it comes to that, I'm certain that you'll get your role in one of those 3 companies.
Well, I hope so too. I'm just crossing my fingers. I just gotta get a college degree and see where I go from there.
Sweet, man. And yeah, you keep using that Adobe Creative Suite. Just play around with the programs on there. I remember what I used to do is I used to be quite involved in politics, and I used to get the politicians of my country who I didn't like. I'd paste them into Photoshop and I'd manipulate their faces to make them look like absolutely like monstrous, like from a different planet. It was a way to pass the time during school. But yeah, that spark definitely helped me to just keep going at it with those programs.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to teaching myself how to put myself in movie scenes or make a lightsaber effect. I'm definitely working on getting a green screen to help make that happen. But there's so many things I look forward to teaching myself without having anyone else help me unless I need it. But it'll definitely be worth the effort.
Yeah, definitely. It's huge. there's there's so many well-made programs in that suite, and there's almost too many tools that you can use to help you out with it. So it's like rediscovering a different world for your computer in a way.
Definitely. I've always wanted to learn how to do that and literally put myself in a movie. And I'm still working on trying to figure things out, but hopefully I'll get it done sometime soon.
Yeah, if you could superimpose yourself in the scene of Revenge of the Sith where Mace Windu gets killed and kill Palpatine instead, that would be amazing. Please.
Oh yeah, sure.
Save my
That'd be
childhood
cool.
hero.
Yeah, I never liked the character, but I love the actor. Well, I appreciate your time, Ross, for taking the time to talk to me today. I learned a lot from you and learned a lot from the world of Star Wars and what you did. I had so much fun definitely talking to you.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, it went very smoothly. That's what I liked. You obviously asked the right questions, and yeah, that's what I like, just having a nice conversation about my experience. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I will let you know when I upload this video. I'll send it to you on Facebook, and in a couple of weeks I'll reach out to you and hopefully I can get one of your autographs.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let me know.
I will.
Okay.
You have a good night now.
All right. See you later, Bill. Have a good one.
See you later, Ross.